And so I'm here, not from Roberts Creek. There's quite a number of people that I notice from my neighborhood, Elphinstone, and I imagine there's a number of people here from Gibson's as well, and I know other areas, but you know, if everyone who's from outside of Roberts Creek might like to raise their hand so we can see.
Yeah, hi, my name is Terry Daw. I'm from Half Moon Bay.
Where's that?
Sorry. That's right. So there's several things I could talk about. For a living, I'm a logger and I have a selective logging business. And if you look at this whole park as a structure right now, it's basically surrounded by golf course, highway, and other situations like that. So it's greatly compromised. And when the park was laid out and the environmental studies were made, very little consideration was given to the amount of blowdown that was going to occur. And it was obvious to anyone with any experience logging, where they laid out that section there, they're going to have an extreme amount of blowdown. And I thought that was pretty tacky of them not to at least mitigate it or at least make more comment that they're going to have a higher percentage of blowdown there, because it was quite obvious that you're going to have an extreme amount of blowdown, especially on that one side, which you did. And while I don't have the figures, I know it was quite a few meters that came out of there. And I like this park for a lot of reasons, but I'll just go to the golf course. I actually like the golf course too. I'm not a golfer, but the way it's laid out and stuff, it's basically quite a pleasant golf course. But you've got to have compromises when you lay out a golf course that way. And people who come to golf courses like that, I think they have to expect those things. And I can't predict the weather, and no more can you guys. If you look at the golf course in Pender Harbor, I worked on that golf course. Did a lot of the falling there when they were building that. And a number of these golf courses, I felt they could have worked them differently and taken less trees out and done things differently, but you've got your way of building them. And the golf course in Seychelles, I was falling there, and that park next to it. And that soccer pitch was there, and that was a beautiful stand of forest, quite a unique stand of forest, that whole area. And as far as that park's concerned, I mean, that little park that's there, that's just a tatter, and nobody hardly goes there. Right next to it, just a big swath for the golf course, which is a very boring golf course. And the area up in the far end where the soccer pitch is, that area is basically, no one ever goes there either. That was a beautiful stand of trees there as well. And you know, we've toasted a lot of land supposedly for golf courses and increased economic activity and stuff, and it's been done quite insensitively. And a lot of the plans and a lot of the promises were never kept to, and a lot of them are unrealistic in the first place. I think that this whole golf course attitude has been shoved down people's throats in a big way, and I just not too impressed with the whole deal.
Excuse me. Have a response.
I would just like to point out that this golf course is one of the most, was built under some of the most environmentally stringent rules ever in the province of British Columbia. And if there were the occasional rule or something that wasn't done exactly perfectly, the overall 99% of the things that were done there were unusual in their environmental stringency. Also, when it comes to the removal of trees on a golf course, you have to do it to grow grass. The fairways on the far side of the B&K where most of the blowdown occurred were built perfectly to get the maximum amount of sunlight. That's why they were aligned in that particular direction. And that the blowdown that occurred there, as I said before, had a lot to do with the type of trees that are grown in the area and the type of soil that's underneath. And the golf course did hire an arborist to come in and try to identify all of the potential blowdown that could occur and to mitigate against that. And he did, and we can only do what the arborist suggested that we do, which we did.
Thank you.
My name is Peggy Campbell, and I'm from the Elphinstone area. I just have to give you a small comment. As a gardener, one thing we all know And we've heard throughout the world, globally, that too many trees are being cut down and it's affecting the ozone layer, etc., etc. It's got to the point here, it seems, that here is the golf course and this issue, and everybody wants to be happy in the place where they want to be, where they find rest or recreation. And one thing we cannot do without, all of us, and that is oxygen. And where do you get oxygen? From the trees. That's what I want to say. Do not cut down the trees.
You're next.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I live in Gratham's Landing.
Go ahead.
Actually, I don't really know what to say. Hello, I'm Carrie. Hello, I'm Carrie. My name, I really don't want to cut down the trees because me and my mom have a nice time there. Bye. My name's Carrie.
And I'm Kerry's father, Dennis. Kerry's 5 years old. I've been enjoying Cliff Gilker for 28, and I really want to believe that he can do that as well.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment, please?
Who's the next speaker?
All right.
Who wants to make a comment?
Me.
Oh, sure.
Well, I just wanted really to speak to what Tim Kelly was saying. There's no question in my mind at all, but that is a very beautiful golf course. More particularly if you look at the desert that now constitutes the Seashell Golf Course. In due time, it too will become beautiful because of the trees that they planted there, which will grow. And I recognize that that the golf course in its construction program complied pretty well with the Norcell recommendations, leaving aside for the moment the question of that 15-meter buffer. And of course, as you probably know from the sentiment of this meeting, the independent nation of Roberts Creek sort of expects that from its citizens, and we compliment you on the fact that you've done a nice job of the golf course. We just want you to stay out of the park, that's all.
My name's Ryan Lewis, and I'm from Elphinstone. And it says here, the golf club will not, in the future, be requesting any areas in Cliff Gilker Park to be cut, providing the proposed areas are approved. If they are approved, as far as I know, trees grow. They'll get taller, they'll cut off more sunlight. What happens then?
Well, the golf club has, the board of the golf club has agreed that they will not ask for any more ever in the future. And as the trees grow, then there will be a gradual decline in the quality because the shade will increase. But trees that are 150 years old today will take a long time before they get, 150 feet tall are going to take a long time before they get to be 200 feet tall.
Yes.
So you're talking about a problem that may arise in 100, 200 years. That may become a major problem. We are recommending major corridors through the trees. Mm-hmm. So those corridors will always be there. They will be encroached into somewhat, and that's understood.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still think it's you need a permanent solution, and this seems quite temporary to me.
My name is Adrian Belshaw, and I live in Roberts Creek. And I'm really only here because somebody, as she was leaving, put this calendar into my hand. I've never seen it before, but it has pictures of parks across Canada, and it has little pictures of heavy equipment. And she put this in my hand to point it, so I could point out to people that this is a national issue. The June page of the calendar is a picture of Cliff Gilker Park, and this is all across Canada. This is a resource for people. It's a beautiful place for people. I'd also like to just remind everybody of, I think, what we all know, that it's a place for wild things too. And the able representative of the golf course spent some time telling us a bit about the technical requirements of grass. Well, it would take a long time to tell anybody about the technical requirements of wild species. Just one brief point I'd like to make is that the smaller a natural area is, the more subject it is to what's called edge effect, which means that the interior of the forest basically isn't forest interior at the edge of the forested area. So the periphery of the park is not forest interior. If you take away from the edge of the park, you're reducing the interior of the park as interior forest. It means you're losing a type of habitat. And the smaller the park is, the more critical that is. Cliff Gilker is a tiny park. It has a lot of species that are not represented elsewhere on the Sunshine Coast because we have very little low elevation park here. Small as it is, it's absolutely essential for those species. I don't want to see another twig cut in that park.
Hi, my name is Chuck Wetherill. I'm a resident of Area E, and I also used to be on a governing body, West South Sound Rec, that dealt a lot with these park issues, and I remember talking to Mr. Gurney about this very problem with this extension onto the golf course. Anyways, what I wanted to say is directed at the regional directors. I seen recently that you used a sledgehammer to kill a flea inside your own house. And I wish you would use the same courage and direction and leadership to take care of immediate problems in the community, ranging from this park to our water. Okay? The business of government is to govern, and I think it's about time you started to govern. Thank you very much.
Are there any other speakers? Okay. We have another.
One more.
Yeah.
He wants to.
We have a speaker at the microphone.
Okay, a very important member of the community would like to say something. He's going to try again.
I would not like anybody to cut down trees because we do like Cliff Gilker Park, and that's one of the ones that I like the most.
Thank you.
My name's Alan May. I'm a 23-year resident of Roberts Creek. Hearing what I'm hearing tonight it doesn't sound to me like the people in this hall are really in favor of cutting any trees in Cliff Gilker Park or even encroaching any more on the property. Maybe it's time for the golf course to consider maybe talking to BC Hydro or McMillan Bodell, who own the lands to the north, namely the power line, and maybe try and work some deal out with them. That way we leave the park alone. The power line isn't exactly pretty as it is. Maybe it could be a reasonable compromise. Thank you.
Thank you. Pardon me, I must ask a question. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who wishes to speak now? This gentleman has spoken before. This is the second time around.
Sorry to come back again, but there's just one little thing that I thought would be an interesting point to bring up. A number of years ago, friends of mine started a turf farm up on Mason Road. So they grow grass just like the golf course, but they sell their grass. And they had troubles getting the their turf farm established up there because of the soil. They had to add lots and lots of lime, and they had to pull out roots, and they had to do all sorts of things to get the grass to grow. And so after several years, they took soil samples